Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another older man's review.
Recently, footballer Ashraf Hakimi's wife filed for divorce after he was accused of RPE and demanded half of his property. She was however informed by court that her millionaire husband owns nothing as all his property is registered under his mother's names. Hakimi receives €1 million from PSG monthly, but 80% of this is deposited in his mother Mrs. Fathima's account. He has no property, cars, houses, jewelry, or even clothes in his name. Anytime he wants anything, he asks his mother who buys it for him. What a genius!
You know, as usual, I always tend to look and see what's trending online. I usually get triggered by something that either I see needs clarification, rectification, or something that you guys need to understand as men. And here's the thing, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this cross the red pill news line. It's about the football player who just went to court and actually won. Won for once. For once, we see a man win when these women who are gold diggers that are coming for us. A win by men. The wins are so few and far between. When men actually win cases in court against these gold-digging women who are constantly looking to take 50, 60, 70% of a man's hard-earned wealth. Let me find my glasses. Let me get this guy's name because I know it's a Moroccan name. Yes, Ashraf Hakimi. And here's the beautiful headline. Footballer Ashraf Hakimi set to get half of his wife's net worth after she filed for divorce. As usual, gentlemen, we know in the red space community that women file for divorce 75 to 90% of the time based on their educational level. Hypergamy, my friends. A woman have a hard time respecting and staying with a man that she either out-earns or she's more intelligent, or I hate to use that term intelligent, but more highly educated. I think that's the best term to use because intelligence and education are two totally different things. We know a lot of stupid doctors. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into this story. Listen, as a guy who's been through 2 divorces before, yeah, don't judge me. Don't judge me. Yeah, I'm telling you guys from experience, how do you protect your wealth? This is the most important part. This gentleman was smart enough to put all of his assets in his mother's name. Great move. But it's a dangerous move. And this is one of the reasons I want to make this video. Because I can tell you what I did to protect my wealth going into my 3rd marriage. And by the way, it was a clean break, but I was lucky. I chose pretty good women, but we had all the problems. And listen, I'm not going to say it was all their fault. A lot of it was mine as well. So I'm going to be fair. I'm going to call a spade, and I will take accountability. But let's not digress. I'm here to tell you how to protect yourself in the best and most legal fashion without, and before I give you this piece of advice, note, there is no 100% foolproof way of protecting your assets without doing something illegal, okay? But I'm going to tell you the best way I did it. And I was given this information by a very wealthy friend of mine who came from family wealth, not self-made wealth, but family wealth, that they had a lot of experience with protecting their wealth over generations. And it is simply this. You open a trust, an irrevocable trust that owns all of your assets. You do not personally own any assets going into the marriage. And that asset is, and you are actually working for that trust. You become the executor of that trust. And then you have 2 trustees. Now, when I did it, when I had my trust set up, I had my best friend and my sister. I figured the best way to do this was not to have 2 people who were not my blood and or 2 people who were my blood. I wanted to have 2 people that I trusted, but also I was as cautious as possible because I want to make sure collusion wasn't involved. However, the only way something could be executed on that trust was through the trustee. Oh, let me rephrase that. But the key before you guys jump into and I posted this video, I think around 8 months ago when I started this channel. This was one of the shorts that I had. Gentlemen, if you have significant assets and you want to make sure that you keep them secure whenever you enter a marriage, don't own anything. What do I mean by that? When I got married, my third time, current marriage, I got this information from a millionaire. He said, open a trust, have that trust own all of your assets that you enter into the marriage with. Find two people that you trust, and they're the executors of the trust. You are in charge of the trust. So you give instructions to your executors, and they basically execute any instructions that you want. But I want to elaborate from that short and teach you a little bit more now that this case has come up. When you open a trust, you become the executor of the trust. Every trust have to have an executor. That means the executor is the individual who gives instructions to the trustees. So you guys got to understand, even if the other two wanted to collaborate against me, they still had to get my permission to do that. And if I wasn't involved, then nothing could be done. They couldn't sell my asset. They couldn't transfer it into someone else's name. And of course, this was the number one question that always came up from that one short. Oh, how can you trust that your sister and your best friend wouldn't steal your shit? Remember, nothing in life, my friends, is 100% guaranteed. That's number one. Number two, I have known these two individuals all my life. If you can't have two people that you trust with your life, you better start looking for some friends. Okay? So understand that simple point. That means you are already losing if you can't find two people that you absolutely trust. Now, let's take it one step further. The fact that they cannot execute any instructions without the executor of the trust puts me in the third wheel or the third link for any instructions to be activated. That means I have pretty good protection. That's the key. Now, is this foolproof? No. Anything can be argued in court, and a good lawyer can really mess up your day. But that is a layer of protection that is just as strong as mama, but much more secure. Because what if mama passed away? Unless she has a will that put her assets back into his name or somebody else's name, then it gets a little bit more murky and it gets a little bit more technical and out of his control. However, my trust also had instructions that if any of the trustees passed away, or if I passed away, they had very specific instructions on what would happen to my assets. So a trust is technically a company that owns all of my asset. So when my wife married me, she married me with nothing. I borrowed from the trust. I rented the house that I had from the trust. Everything, I had nothing myself. I had lease agreements with myself through the trust so that I can use my assets. Anytime I needed to buy something, the trust bought it and they rented it back to me. See how this works? A trust is the best way to go. I do not trust, pardon the pun, I do not have much confidence in prenups. Prenups can easily be unraveled in court. Now, that's my case, guys. This was in the Cayman Islands. Totally different jurisdiction under totally different laws. Now, if you're living in America, if you're living in Africa, you're living anywhere else in the world, the laws may be different for you. That's why you cannot take my advice based on my circumstances in my country, in my jurisdiction. That's why you need to go and you need to find an attorney to open a trust. It doesn't cost you much. It isn't that hard. But if you have significant assets or even if you don't, it's better for you to have a trust before you get married. All right, guys, that's it. This was a quick one. I just wanted you guys to protect yourselves at all times. We know how this works in the red pill community. It is important, gentlemen, that you protect yourself if you ever want to get married, because these ladies out here in the Western Hemisphere, my friend, They're not about family. They're not about building community with you. They're not about building a legacy with you. They're all about how can I get as much as I can without working for it so that I don't ever have to worry about money for the rest of my life. That's all they're concerned about. And while I do that, I can get my own seed to pass on because she's taking the kids, the car, the house, everything. Western women really don't give two shits about you. All right? Guys, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. And of course, remember, whenever in doubt, what do? First thing you do, ask an older man. We come with the experience. All right, cheers.